Okay, the time is 7 o'clock, and I call the September 24th meeting of the Millcreek Supervisors meeting to order. If you'll please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I want to remind everybody that this meeting is being recorded, both video and audio, by WQLN. It will be broadcast on Spectrum Channel 1024, which is the Millcreek Government channel, and also will be available on the YouTube.com channel for Millcreek Township Supervisors. Both of those features will have closed captioning available. We'll move on to item number 3, which is public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Do we have any public comment on any agenda items other than zoning or development applications? Being none, we'll move on to item number 4, which is the introduction of our student ambassadors for this year. And I have the pleasure of introducing these two young ladies. I have their bios here. Give me just 1 second to scroll back a little bit. They're both from McDowell High School. They are seniors and part of the gifted program at McDowell High School. Let's see, I scrolled too far ahead. Okay, Nina DePlacido. This is the girl in the blazer. She is a senior at McDowell and is currently involved in many activities in her school, in the community and at the national level. Nina is involved in the McDowell Center for Performing Arts, the vocal ensemble, and is vice president of the National Honor Society and is president of a student-led group called Exposure. She is the vice president of the national team for the organization Education Rocks. She plans to continue her education after graduation. I know you're still up in the air what college it might be. And just a little factoid, I think you mentioned that you are also the voice of announcements every morning at McDowell High School. Imagine that. So that's very nice, and we're very pleased to have you on board here.
Thank you.
And then Evelyn Moore is to her left, and Evelyn is a senior at McDowell High School also, and is involved as a leader in various activities, including president and founder of the Math Club, vice president of the Environmental Club, treasurer of the Mock Trial Hearing, Honors College, National Honor Society, and the Speech and Debate Team. Evelyn is a dual enrollment student and currently takes differential equations at Barron Penn State University. She is also employed at Larson Text as a math intern and a tutor. After graduation, she plans to major in mathematics and computer science and to eventually get her PhD in mathematics. Just one little thing here. I did look up differential equations. Did you guys know what those are, differential equations?
Yeah.
What I was, it's very much Greek to me. And so I happened to look it up. And it's interesting. It is mathematics, of course. Probably the closest thing I could tell you. Yes, it is mathematics. And, it's in its worst kind, I think. And anyway, it is, if you ever watch The Big Bang Theory and you see the whiteboard with that formula on it, that's it. It is very close to that there. And so it's very impressive that you have that knowledge and that desire to continue that.
So with these two on the board, the IQ of the dais is increased exponentially.
Well, I think there's a curve. I don't know. Well, anyway, it's great to have you two on board here. Now, there'll be alternating meetings here from this point on, but we wanted to have both of them here present so we can introduce them both there. So after the meeting, if there's a chance you want to chat with them, feel free. I know there's some fellow students out here, so feel free to do that. So anyway, let's move on to our next item, which is item number 5, which is the approval of the minutes from our prior meeting. Any questions, corrections, or additions that need to be made? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the September 10th minutes.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second that.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 6 is approval of the bills. Any questions about the bills? I think we have a complete batch report there. If there's no questions, I'll call for a motion.
Make a motion we approve the bills.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And so do I. Okay, number 7, bids and quotations. Storm sewer street landscaping from the Public Works Department. Gary Snyder, what do you have?
Good evening, gentlemen. We are seeking to award a contract tonight for the landscaping of our 40th Street Storm Sewer project. This would take us from Lancaster Road to Concord Road. It's roughly 2,000 linear feet. We sought bids from 3 companies. First one was Triverse Ecosystems, and their bid was $17,000. Second, Garrelux Garden and Power Equipment. Their bid was $11,700. And the third was Mansley Services, and they did not quote. It would be my recommendation to contract Garrelux Power Equipment to do the landscaping on the 40th Street Storm Sewer project for the $11,700.
Okay. Any questions from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Garrelux Power Equipment for the landscaping of 40th Street storm sewer installation for $11,700.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, the next item is, which is a garage door on the agenda, that will be tabled. I guess we had some discussion. Mark, do we need to make go through a motion for tabling that?
Yes.
Okay. Knowing that we're going to be tabling that, do I hear a motion to table that?
I'll make a motion to table it.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And so do I. Okay. Next item is change order number 1 for the Millcreek Township Sidewalk Accessibility Project, phase number 7, planning and development. Matt Waldinger.
Thank you. Good evening. The Township Sidewalk Accessibility Project Phase 7 was awarded to Empire Excavation and Demolition for a contract price of $184,450. This change order before you signifies some quantities that were in the contract that were unused. We typically put in some extra amounts for curbing and things out on an as-needed basis.
Okay.
All the ramps are complete and those items were not needed. So this change order is a reduction of the total contract amount. We'll be reducing it by $8,020. So the total new contract amount is $176,430, and these are community development block grant funds that we use to fund this project.
Okay. Questions among the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 1.
Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, item number 8, which is a public hearing on land development subdivision plans. The first one is for Jeffrey and Emily McCuller. It's a small subdivision plan to show the creation of a .07 acre lot that is to become an integral part of tax parcel ID 165-610-13, located on the northeast corner of the intersection of Crowell and Berry Streets in Tract 346. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019, the Millcreek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with the following. The requirement that the 0.07 acre lot is to become an integral part of Erie County Tax Parcel 33-165-610-13, and that a correction be made to the Mylar to include the 40-foot rear yard setback for tax parcel 33-165-610-13.
Okay. Okay, is anybody here to speak on this matter? The property owner or surveyor? Sir, would you please come forward? And if you would identify yourself for the record.
Good evening. My name is Ben Clement. I am the property owner located at the northeast corner of Crowell and Berry Street. I had come before you before, I think, I was trying to put like a sunroom on the back of my house, but I did not have enough property there. And at the beginning of the construction of that property, at the top of the hill, they leveled it off. They pushed it down and kept doing that until I'm at the bottom. So I have a hill right behind my house there.
Okay.
I've kept it clean for quite a few years, and the young guy that just moved in there doesn't want it. So I'm going to acquire that .07 acres so that I could build a retaining wall and acquire the property for the sunroom behind my house. It was like 15 feet was the addition.
Okay. Okay, and you understand the conditions that was expressed by Mr. Waldinger? Was recommended by the, okay. Okay. Is there anybody else here to speak on this matter? Okay. Any questions among the board? Anybody have questions for?
Just, if you could sign in, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you-
The surveyor Laird came to the, and he fixed the.
Yes, he's making the corrections for that second.
Yeah.
page.
Okay. Okay, then. Okay, since there are no questions from the board, or do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the small subdivision plan with the corrections noted by Mr. Waldinger.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
Vote yes?
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our next item is a small subdivision plan from Robert W. and Elise Sessler. Small subdivision plan to show the creation of one new lot of 3.960 acres with two residual lots of 0.592 acres. Parcels 44-229-38 and 0.449 acre parcel on parcel 44-229-39. The subdivision is along the north line of West Ridge Road and west of Colonial Avenue in Tract 309. Mr. Waldinger.
At their regular meeting of Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019, the Millcreek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with no conditions.
Okay. Okay, do I hear, is the owner or a surveyor here to speak on this matter? Is there anybody to speak on this matter?
Mr. Waldinger, were there any comments at the planning commission meeting?
No one from the public approved or appeared. Mr. Sessler did appear and presented the petition to the Planning Commission.
Okay. He was notified to be here tonight.
It is part of the notification.
I was going to say part of the packet that goes out there. Okay.
Do you have any concerns with the plan, Mr. Waldinger?
No, basically it's a swap of the frontage of the property from a parcel that contains a home to a parcel that's vacant.
Okay. So the net difference is zero then, with, thereabouts?
It's close to zero, yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
I have a question, Matt. Was this part of the same land that was brought up previously?
This was
by
rezoned.
Mr.
It was
Where
brought
some of the neighbors were speaking in opposition to it?
I believe some came for the rezoning, yes.
Yes, for the rezone,
Right,
okay.
correct.
Well, this is the same parcel?
This is the same parcel, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, just one other question I have in regard to this. Whether the zoning was commercial as it was or residential, it still complies with the subdivision and land development ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, so the dimensions do not matter? Okay. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to take some action on this. Do I hear a motion on it? Should we even take a motion on this, I guess, at this time?
Well, Mr. Shaw and Mr. Waldinger, it's not required for the applicant to be present for the hearing?
I don't, I think it's recommended. I don't know that it's required for him to be present. I know in the past, the board has approved subdivisions when the owner doesn't show up at the hearing. So you have the ability to approve it.
Yeah, it is required for the Planning Commission for someone to appear, or it will be tabled. For the supervisors, there's no requirement, but it would be up to the board's discretion if you had additional questions that you didn't feel, that you had answers to, or you had some concerns.
And we're confident that they were notified
Yes,
as a routine
absolutely.
process?
Yeah, it's all part of the
Okay.
Now, there
initial
is,
process.
if I understand this correctly, there is a pending land development plan? Is
Yes,
that going
there
before
is.
the planning commission, or is it going before us?
It's going before the Planning Commission has not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's still a month away then?
Yes.
And that's essentially for parcel A that's shown on this map.
Let me take a look at the map. Yes, for the larger parcel A.
Okay. Okay. Guys, what do you think?
Mr. Chairman, if the planning department doesn't have any concerns and the planning commission recommend approval without any comments, I don't have a problem making a motion this evening,
Okay.
even without the owner being present.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes, too. Okay. Our next item is Resolution 2019 R52. It's a resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015 R20 and the Municipal Records Manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records. And this comes from Chris Wilson, who is our IT director in the police department. Subject is video deletions. He's seeking approval for the deletion of videos from the Millcreek Police Department dash cam server, and this would include for the dates, give me a chance to roll up there, between September 25th and October 8th, due to reaching the end of the required retention period. This is a typical action that we take every meeting to delete those videos. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-R52.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Our next item, number 10, Resolution 2019-R53. It's a resolution for plan revision for a small flow treatment facility at 5350 Old French Road. Matt Waldinger.
Thank you. Yeah, the township was contacted by an engineering firm working for a township resident. The resident lives at 5350 Old French Road. They are having an issue with their septic and unfortunately cannot put another septic system in because of soil conditions. So they are being required to put in a small flow treatment plant. That would be an on-lot treatment plant.
Yes.
The DEP requires that the municipality in which such a facility is located pass a resolution stating that the facility meets our ordinances and updating our sewer plan to accommodate that. Both DEP and the Health Department will ultimately approve this application, but the resolution is attached now for your approval at this time.
Okay. So there's multiple agencies that are going to be involved in this. Okay. Questions or comments from the board in regard to this? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion
Okay, somebody.
for for Resolution 2019-R53.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
So do I. I was actually going to ask our student ambassadors if they wanted to, but. Okay, moving on to item number 11, Resolution 2019-R54, a resolution approving the recommendation of the Millcreek Township Fire and Emergency Medical Services Commission to reduce the call volume for Millcreek Township Fire Departments. Mr. Mark Shaw, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Yes, thank you. At the last Millcreek Township Fire and Emergency Medical Services Commission meeting, the commission was presented with a recommendation from their operating subcommittee or operations subcommittee to eliminate two types of auto dispatch calls, EMS type calls. One is what they call basic life support. Another is called advanced life support - sick person. The committee, after consultation with the Erie County Department of Public Safety, Millcreek Paramedic Service, and various representatives of the Millcreek Fire Departments, concluded that auto dispatch for these two types of calls was unnecessary. Auto dispatch is when the call comes in, there's a list of the departments and entities that automatically get called to respond to those calls. And in this case, it was determined that simply auto dispatching the EMS services as opposed to the EMS services and the fire departments was sufficient. So after the committee made the recommendation and the commission approved that recommendation and has forwarded on to the township supervisors for their review and determination. And based upon determination that eliminating those calls from anti-auto dispatch would have a minimal impact on the level of emergency medical services within the township and would have a beneficial impact on reducing the number of calls that fire departments are required to respond, thereby reducing call volume, which thereby reduces the demand on our volunteers, as well as reducing the costs associated with going on those calls and the wear and tear on the vehicles and so forth. They recommended that the Board of Supervisors adopt this resolution. Essentially, first part of the resolution would be to approve and adopt the recommendation to eliminate the auto dispatching of those two types of calls. Second would be to direct the Millcreek Office of Emergency Management to immediately advise the Erie County Dispatch Center to modify the Millcreek Township CAD response to eliminate those auto dispatches, as well as also direct the Office of Emergency Management to ensure that appropriate procedures are in place to provide response in situations where if there's going to be a delay or the EMS can't respond quickly, that the fire departments would then be dispatched. So this would not eliminate the scenarios where EMS may show up and then need a fire department to attend. They would then make a direct call based on that, but it's just the auto dispatch which would eliminate it. And a test run was done with one of the fire departments in the township using this, and they did see a drop in their volume of calls as a result of eliminating this. So it was recommended that this be adopted by the township.
Okay. Okay. Questions or comments from the board? Anybody got anything? Jim, I know you're the liaison to the EMS Commission. Anything?
Right, I was present at the Fire Commission as well, and after hearing it presented by Caleb Dixon from our Emergency Management and Code Department, and conferring with some other volunteer firemen, I think this is a very prudent resolution to take. It does reduce the call volume. As we know, they're already strapped with calls. So this in no way is going to diminish or minimize the level of service that will still be provided by the EMS providers. So
Right.
I'm confident it's a good move.
Yes, and it seems that it has been tested in one of the departments already. I understand, as you just mentioned there,
Yes.
so it's been proven to work, and so of course I think that sounds a pretty good idea then. So whenever we roll an engine or anything like that, an ambulance that maybe not needed, it puts that crew in danger. So,
Right.
John, do you have any comments or questions?
No, I think it makes sense. I appreciate the commission looking into these issues and providing. That's exactly, I think, why the commission was formed, is to advise us and to have our departments work together.
Yeah.
To have, to collaborate and come up with these township-wide policies. And again, it seems like if it's kind of a duplication in some ways to dispatch both MPS and the department, makes perfect sense to, as Mr. Shaw said, lessen the volume of calls on our volunteers and leave it to our local MPS provider. So.
Okay. Okay, with all that stated, I'll need to hear some sort of motion on this here. I think I know what it's going to be, so.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019 R54.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
How about yes?
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, our next item is from the Recycling Department, from Jessica Stutzman. And the subject is a the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection Section 904 Performance Grant. The PADEP Section 904 recycling performance grants are available to all Pennsylvania local governments with recycling programs like we have here at Millcreek. The grant awards are based on the total tons recycled and the applicant's recycling rate. Eligible grant materials included only the following items: glass bottles and jars, steel and aluminum cans, plastic bottles, newspaper, magazines, paper, and corrugated cardboard. In 2018, Millcreek Township residents and businesses recycled 8,978 tons of eligible materials. So as a result, the recommendation from the department, from the recycling department, is that Millcreek Township apply for a $126,649.34 grant from the PADEP Section 904 Performance Grant to put back into programming, education, and events that will benefit the township residences and businesses. Supervisor's signature is required for grant submission, and just wanted to show this. This was, give me just 1 second here. This was something that we received earlier, just about a month or two ago, achievement award from the DEP for Millcreek Township for our recycling efforts, and for that was in 2018. 21,922 tons of recyclables. So we are doing the right thing here with the recycling efforts, and so we want to thank, first of all, the recycling department and the work that they do, our haulers, and of course our residents that take the proper action of recycling. So this is from everybody's hard work on that. So I just want to give a shout out for that. And let the people know that. And I got some other numbers in case somebody wants to see them afterwards. It's very interesting, or you can always get the numbers from the recycling department. It's astonishing how much we recycle here in Millcreek Township. So with all that said, I'm going to make a motion that we apply for that grant submission. Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second that, John.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay. And let's see, moving on to item 13, which is the communications. Mr. Zaheski, do you have anything from the Treasurer
I
Department?
got just a couple quick things here.
Okay.
We received on September 16th, a little over $310,000 from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the Fire Department Relief Associations. This is from the tax on foreign insurance companies for property insurance. And these monies are just a pass-through. We had budgeted $285,000, so the departments are getting about $5,000 additional because the amount came in higher than was budgeted. And then also, too, last week, we received from the state a check for $1.165 million plus for state aid. That was a unit value of $5,120.49. It's almost 50 cents. It's fractionally below. That was about $1,000 more than we had budgeted per unit. The police count for 2 units, the other employees count for 1. So it's about $200,000 more than we had budgeted. So those are both, the fire departments are getting more money, and we got a little bit more assistance on meeting our MMO through the higher unit value of state aid.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's our pension aid.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's good there. Okay. John, do you have anything?
I don't, but Mr. Waldinger does.
Yes. Matt Waldinger, so you now.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a few training requests for my department. First one is for Matt Puz. He will be taking taking a test to become a certified floodplain manager. The test is being held in Oil City on October 4th. He would like to request a township vehicle to travel to and from Oil City on that day. He would leave in the morning for the test at 8:30 and then return in the afternoon.
Okay.
So that's the first request.
Okay. Your motion on that request?
I guess Matt Puz can take the vehicle, I suppose. I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you
I'll
vote?
vote yes.
You know, I think I'll vote yes, too.
We're talking being green, maybe we should ride his bike here.
Well, he could probably run there. He's a fast
Oh, he
runner.
is.
He is
Yeah,
a
he
runner.
is a-
He
he's an
runs.
athlete.
He's there a part of his
I
training
see him
regimen.
running on his
Yeah.
lunch hour.
Yes, he's an athlete,
Amazing.
so, yep. So, okay, what else you got there, Matt?
Second request is for project engineers Emma George and John Sebesta to attend a workshop being held by the Lawrence County Department of Planning and Community Development. This will be led by CEC, Civil and Environmental Consultants. It is a half-day workshop on green infrastructure design and implementation. It's going to be held at the Crawford County Public Safety Building in Meadville, September 27th from 8:30 to noon. The fee is $10 per person, and they would also request the use of a township vehicle to travel down there and back.
Okay. Okay. Do I hear a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve the request.
And do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes.
Okay, and the final request is for project engineer Emma George and myself to attend the 2019 PSATS Stormwater Conference, which is going to be held on Wednesday, October 16th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Doubletree Hotel Conference Center in Monroeville, PA. The cost is $125 per person, which includes lunch. Ms. George will attend the technical track session, and I will attend the policy track section. And we're requesting the use of a township vehicle for travel. This is a budgeted amount in the department's training budget, as was the $20 in the
Okay.
previous request.
Okay. Do you hear a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
And I also vote yes. That's
all
it?
I have. Thank you.
John, do you have anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay. Okay, I got just two little things here. Executive sessions, the board held with our solicitor regarding some legal matters were held on September the 12th and September the 19th. And this is just a reminder, because we'll get more information from our student ambassadors. The homecoming parade for McDowell High School is this Friday, the 27th. Caughey Road will be closed from 26th Street to 38th Street, starting about 5 o'clock, and I believe it'll finally open up again, probably 6:30 or so, as you get ready for the game, which begins at 7. So I just want to remind everybody of that. Please take an alternate route. You know, I'm sure that people won't get this information in time, but still, please take an alternate route if you need to get up that area there, or get there before the road is closed. That's all I have.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brewer, there was a
That's,
request from Jessica Stutzman on the recycling department.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
About a notary?
Right, yes, I'm sorry. I do have a third one there. Pardon about that.
I got it right here. You got it?
Yeah, I got it right here. Okay, yes. This comes from Jessica Stutzman in the recycling department. The message is she is seeking approval for Jessica Stutzman to attend a first-time notary seminar at the Hilton Garden Inn, an everyday notary seminar at the Courtyard by Marriott on October 1st, 2019. The recommendation is the recycling department recommends the purchase and attendance of this course in order to aid the public service department with public notary appointment requests. The recycling department has accounted for this continuing education expense in the 2019 budget. The class fees and supplies amount to $153.12. I'll put that in the form of a motion there. Thanks for catching me on that there.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, now I think I'm done. Jim,
Okay.
it's up to you.
I have 3 requests from Chief Scott Height from our police department. The first is he's requesting approval for the West Ridge Fire Police to assist with traffic control at Brown's Farm on October 12th from 8 to 11:30 a.m. for an MYA cross-country event. This is an annual event that creates quite a bit of traffic, pedestrian and vehicle traffic up at the Brown's Farm near the Walnut Creek School. Pedestrians will be crossing back and forth throughout that event. So he's requesting just formal approval for the fire police to assist with control up there. I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes.
The second is approval for the police MPD to participate in the Drug Enforcement Agency's National Take Back Initiative at the Township Building on October 26th. In addition, the police department has also received a request from Wegmans to sponsor both of their local stores. To meet the program requirements, Wegmans has agreed to reimburse Millcreek Township the costs associated with having an officer present at each store. This is the National Take Back Day. It's done annually, I believe. And last year, there was a drop-off site here at the Township Building, as well as both Millcreek Wegmans locations, Peach Street and West Ridge Road. So they've requested to have an officer present at each of those stores to provide security at those sites. It worked out well last year. I think they took in a lot of, quite a bit of pounds of prescription medicine is what it's intended for that's expired. So anyone can come right, and I'm sure we'll have a further announcement later as it gets closer, so.
Mr. Bach, what does it mean by Wegmans has agreed to reimburse the township? They're going to enter into our third-party agreements?
That's correct. That's correct. So, yes, Wegmans will be contracting with our officers for that event. I don't have the hours there, but I think it's...
Generally, from 10 until 2, I think, is
Okay.
what we've had
I was
traditionally
thinking-
here in the building,
Okay.
10 until 2.
I was thinking it's about a 3 or 4 hour event that, yes, so Wegmans will be paying the cost of our officers to be there. And I'll make a motion for that request.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes.
And the last request is approval to send one additional officer to the Street Cop Training Course being held in Erie at the Blasco Library on October 2nd and 3rd. This was, we approved several officers to attend at our last meeting. This is an additional request for, I believe, Corporal Panaghetti. He's one of our corporals, patrol corporal supervisors. This will incur an additional $199 registration fee for him to attend that 2-day training here in Erie. I'll put a motion for that.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes.
Okay, and the last thing I have is, may or may not have heard, but starting today at 7 a.m., the City of Erie Police Department went live with the new Erie County radio system. Millcreek Police Department is going live tomorrow morning on the new next generation public radio system. This is a $26.5 million project that's been in the works literally for decades. And what this new system is going to enable Millcreek Police to do is to be able to communicate with other law enforcement entities that are out there. Previously, they could not directly communicate with the City of Erie Police or the state police. So this will enable all entities to be able to communicate together on one radio system. There was a news article in the Times on September 6th that stated that Millcreek would not be switching over to this system. That was in error. What's confusing is we are the only law enforcement entity other than the state police that still uses their own dispatch center, which is housed in this building. That will continue to be so, and that's where the confusion was coming in. So Millcreek is part of this new radio system, and that is led by the county, but we still do have our own dispatch system here. So just wanted to clear that up and let everybody know that, oh, and also it's encrypted. So anybody that may have had a scanner in the past and like to listen in on the police, no longer going to be possible as of tomorrow morning. So might want to listen tonight.
It's your last call tonight, is that what it is?
That's it. You might hear something fun.
Yes.
So that's all I have.
Something long overdue there, so, okay.
Right.
Thanks for that update on that there, Jim. Okay, let's move on to our student ambassadors. Do you guys have something you want to share there, or individual reports? The microphone's yours. Go ahead.
Thank you. So this weekend is the McDowell 2019 Homecoming Celebrations. Our festivities begin this Friday at 5 p.m. with the homecoming parade on Cawhee, so it will be closed down and traffic may be difficult. And that is followed by our homecoming game this Friday at 7 p.m. at the Gus Anderson Field against Hollidaysville. And in addition to playing this weekend, our McDowell football team is very proud to announce that they are still undefeated so far this season. And our football team has not been this successful since 2001. So they hope to continue this winning streak as their season draws to a close. And finally, our homecoming festivities conclude with our homecoming dance at the McDowell Intermediate High School at 7:30 p.m. this Saturday evening.
Okay. And Nina is also part of, she's also part of the homecoming court. I forgot to mention that.
Yes.
She is in the court there too, so. Okay, are you okay there?
Yes,
Evelyn?
sorry,
Okay.
I'm doing overtold.
Okay.
So I just have smaller notes to present. On Saturday, the 21st, the McDowell Marching Band placed second place overall out of 10 marching bands in their competition in Bradford, Pennsylvania. Secondly, a little under a year ago, some students at McDowell started a math club, and within less than a year, the club now has over 70 members. And lastly, McDowell took part in National Voter Registration Day today and registered those who are eligible to vote at McDowell.
Okay. Great reports there. Thank you.
Thank
Okay. Okay. Mr. Shaw, do you have anything for us?
I can't top that.
I was going to
so
say,
I don't
who
have
can
any-
top that there?
Well, Mark, you always have such great news for us.
Okay. Cheryl, do you have anything for us? Matt Waldinger, one more time.
Nothing further.
Gary, anything else?
I do have one item.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
At a previous meeting, we were requested to have the gate open at the end of Homestead.
Oh, yes, yes.
We viewed that the other day.
Mhm.
The school district had a lock on that, and we had one of our locks on it. Both of those locks have been taken off, and it has been designated as a fire lane, and there is a fire department lock on there according to the sign. So if maybe Mr. Bach could meet with those folks and
Well,
make sure that it
Yeah,
is open.
I believe, I think we kind of had the same circumstances last year, but I'm not sure. I believe, and I will communicate with Westridge, and we'll make sure that gate's open.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
we have a member of Westridge in attendance. Can we get the message out there, Dan?
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yep, okay. Nothing else, okay. Citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens that would like to speak before the board? Sir, you had your hand up first. If you would, please come forward. Yes, sir. And we'll get you next there. Okay. No. Yes, if you would, sir, please come forward and. As per policy, under the resolution, 5 minutes we have for that.
How long can I speak?
5 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, if you would sign your name and.
My name is Jeff Merriman from
Okay.
Bondi,
Okay,
and this issue's dealing with the open work orders that have been open for about a year now,
okay.
and I haven't had any response on
Okay.
those other ones, other than my sewer being lined.
Mhm.
I've had communication with you, Mr. Groh, John Morgan, Mr. Bach, you all know who I am, Cheryl Williams, and Gary Snyder. And I've sent you emails and no response. And, excuse me, since 2/19, I talked to you about my complaints, and April 2/19, and you employed the cat and mouse complaint deflection tactic strategy. You instructed your personnel to tell me what you only want me to hear. It's quite obvious that you did not respond to my, you did not read my two emails that I sent you because you misunderstood my compilation of facts that support my statements. Furthermore, you refused to answer my questions in order to not incriminate yourself or your staff. However, with respect to your one and only email to me, your recrimination is meritless because you made some false statements. And I didn't appreciate that. Or you've made some statements to benefit your position and cover-up. As my other emails have identified, I have refuted everything that you and your staff have stated to me. Okay, work orders not completed in a timely manner. That's a fact. Okay, my statements were with respect to pothole repair, minor pothole repair, minor street repair, and paving around the sewers, loose asphalt not to code. That's what I've been told. As far as loose asphalt not to code. Okay, work orders purposely discarded. I submitted the work orders last September. I contacted Gary Snyder, and I talked to him. I sent the email over. No updates. You guys all got the updates. Okay, no response. Nothing's happened. I talked to Cheryl. In April, when I talked to you, Mr. Groh, you said to pound on Mr. Morgan. Okay, and then when it came to July or to June 21st, I talked to Cheryl, and she said that's not even his job; it's your job. So I let 2 months go, and the actual date that's significant is August 14th. Okay, in your statement, your email to me, you said that I misunderstood. I didn't misunderstand anything. I identified the problem, and it's not been resolved. You said something about communication, township, lengthy email, verbal, and communication to Gary Snyder. He never sent me any emails that I ever received. So there's no documentation of that. And if there is, I'm coming down and I want a copy of those emails, those false emails. Okay, work orders. My work orders went in, they're gone. It doesn't take a resident 4 to 5 times in 1 year to issue the work order. That's a fact, okay? So on the 14th of August, I sent in and called, or I sent it in first off the website, the work orders that I previously discussed, and I called into Pam, and she recorded them again for the 5th time. There's a bunch of excuses. You said that there were no acts that were deliberate, so I mean, I'm just saying, and your calls aren't ignored. Why does it take a year to do a minor pothole when I've had the documentation to try to follow up? Then you said it's challenging to return calls. That's everybody's job to return a call or email. I mean, that's just, it's crazy. And then here's the big one. Complaints are based on priority. That's a false statement. The reason why it's a false statement, I'll go back to the August 14th date. I went outside and you were paving my neighbor's driveway. You put a 37-foot addition paving in front of his driveway. 37 foot. There's more pavement on that section because of the dip in the road and the roads being bad than they did on all Bondi. Okay, those are the facts. And I just can't believe that this is happening. And I have some pictures that you can see that no one's responded to. And I'll give you the first pictures, Mr. Gary. The sewers are bad. There's a tomato plant growing up through one. They're all eroded. And then since then...
Okay. Mr. Merriman, your time is up, and I'm going to give you another 30 seconds, and then we have to finish it up.
Here's your picture that you can look at. Because I've gone through this, and I don't think it takes a resident for all this time to have these issues. The sewers are bad. I did a little study on the water going down. They don't even go in the sewers. Okay. And then here's the tomato plant, and the water does not go in the sewers. And the sewers are all crunched up.
Okay.
And that's the truth.
Okay. Do you want to leave these with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So my final statement here is I'm requesting a resolution to my open work orders from April 2019. I think that's fair.
Okay. Thank you for your comments, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak before the board on any matter involving the township? Yes, just a second there, ma'am. You in the yellow sword.
I have the letter that I sent to you. I'm going to hand deliver.
Okay. Okay, you can see me after the meeting. Yes, ma'am, please come forward if you would.
Hello, everyone. My name is Penny Meckley Porter, and I came tonight just to introduce myself. I just started a business up on Cawhee Road, so I've been listening very carefully to what you guys have been saying. I'm at 3910 Cawhee, which is in Forest Hills Commons, but I started a company. It's called Thrive Therapy Space, and I just thought I'd come and introduce myself because I'm a local company now. Okay. So I am a therapist, and I started this company for therapists, again, Thrive Therapy Space. The idea is to help the therapists themselves to thrive. So we're creating a community. We want to create a lot of connection and a lot of collaboration for therapists locally in the whole Erie area, and probably a little bit beyond. We have some therapists who travel here from other areas. Okay. But so to create a thriving workplace for therapists so that the therapists themselves are healthy and thriving, and then we can help our clients to be healthy and thriving, and even the community to be healthy and thriving. Okay. So just wanted to tell you about that, and I have an invitation. I just joined the Chamber of Commerce, and so they're going to come help me do a ribbon cutting, and we're having an official grand opening. So I just wanted to drop off business cards and invite you, and anyone who would like to come to our grand opening celebration on October 11th in the afternoon, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for choosing Millcreek to locate your business. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm happy to.
This was the co-working space you're working on with Radius, correct? Isn't that?
It's a co-working space, and so yes, so I've been working very closely with Sean Fedorko. He has mentored me. He's just awesome. And so yes, it's another co-working space, and Sean is really excited to be able to brag that a community as small as our community hosts 2 co-working spaces. So that's pretty cool. And you guys might know that there's a movement even all around the world of co-working spaces, and so this is one of the, there aren't that many that are this specialized for therapists, but so it's one of the few around that's specialized for therapists.
And what time is that again, the opening?
4:30 to 6:30, and I've got a little invitation here for you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to see me after the meeting, I have something for you there too then. Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak before the board? Second call. Is there anyone else who would like to speak before the board? Being none, we'll close the meeting at 7:53. Do I hear a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we're out of here. Thank you.